Thank you so much for joining me here at For Real. My name's Claire and my husband's name is Jeremy. In this video, I'm going to give you an update on a number of things. In fact, there are 10 things that I have written down in my notebook in front of me that I want to talk to you about. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first one is a bit of a quick update on the border situation. So the borders between Cambodia and Thailand are still closed. However, the ceasefire seems to be holding and there doesn't seem to be any conflict in those areas, at least that is being reported in news that we have access to. So what's really going on there, we don't know. But as far as we know, things seem to be okay there now. Most of the people that had been displaced have gone back to their homelands, with the exception of people that live really close to the border, because their lands are now contaminated with new unexploded ordnance. And so it's not safe for them to go back until those areas have been cleared. And in some cases, this is the second time that they'll have been cleared. So it's very, very frustrating for those people and also for the people that risk their lives doing this demining work. So that's the situation on the borders. Another angle of the situation, another aspect of the situation is that many Cambodians, many thousands of Cambodians who had been living and working in Thailand and sending money back to family members in Cambodia have returned to Cambodia. The most of those people crossed the border in Battambang. Now the government stepped in and offered those people transport to get back to their homeland. So whichever province they originally came from, they were able to get back to. And I think that was a really smart move by the government, because you don't want, thousands upon thousands of people that are newly displaced and newly returned to the country sort of in one place. I think they can service them better and look after them better if they're spread around the country where resources are also spread. So that's one element of the border conflict that hasn't received a lot of coverage outside of Cambodia, but it's really difficult, and it places, like having so many thousands of new people coming over, places a lot of strain on Cambodia's economy. And also the money that those people were sending to their families is obviously no longer being sent. So it puts pressure on those people as well, because they don't have that income that they had from their families outside. So a really difficult situation still. The tourist numbers here are very, very low in Siem Reap, even for the wet season, because of the border situation and because of the lasting implications of COVID. We're still not back to where we were before COVID. So all in all, it's quite a desperate situation for a lot of people, and there's going to be need and required support for quite some time yet, even when the borders do open, and who knows when that might be. And in the second item on my list, the Daejeon International Airport in Phnom Penh is now open, so the new international airport. And that's been a really positive thing, and people have really kind of clung to that in the context of everything else that's been going on. It's been a bit of good news. So it's been wonderful to see, how proud people are of this new construction and how beautiful it is. It looks absolutely wonderful. There's loads of videos. Ryan's got one from Itchy Feet. If you want to go and have a look virtually inside the airport, please do so until you can get there yourself for a first-hand look. It will be really good. And also another thing that we mentioned on social media, if you don't follow us on Facebook, you might not have seen this post, but it is possible to get a city bus from the centre of Phnom Penh to the new airport for 1,500 Riel, which is about 37 cents, which is incredible. And the reason that this is possible is because that bus is part of the city bus network, and those buses have a flat fare of 1,500 Riel. So no matter how far you go and no matter which route you take, I think there's about 19 routes with the addition of this new one for the airport. So they go from about 5:30 in the morning till about 11:30 at night, I think, in both directions. And that covers most of the flights. It's a lot better than what we have in Siem Reap. So 1,500 Riel is a much better, 37 cents, is a much better cost than the $8 or $9 that we have to pay to take a bus to the airport. Okay, that's number 2. Okay, item number 3 on my list is Jeremy's birthday. So we had his party on Saturday, and I wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who came along on Saturday night and made it just the best night. We had a wonderful time meeting so many people, talking to people that we'd met a couple of times, talking to brand new people that we hadn't met before, and just seeing all of the people that came talking together with each other as well was absolutely fantastic. Jeremy had a great time too. We were exhausted by the end of the night, but it was just so worth it. Really, really wonderful time. Thank you so much to everyone that came. And also, that leads me on to the next topic. We took some donations there, so we had a bit of a donation box going, and we raised, with the help of a couple called Pete and Diane, who gave us a really big, generous donation. Altogether, we raised $350 for Jeremy's birthday, and that's about 530 Australian dollars. And that leads me on to the next point, and that is that we have reached a massive milestone in our donation kind of profile. We've reached $10,000. I never thought we would be able to donate $10,000 just from the proceeds of a YouTube channel. It's absolutely staggering that we've been able to do that. And it's, as I say this all the time, it's because of you that we're able to do this. If you weren't watching our videos, we wouldn't receive the revenue from YouTube. So thank you so much for helping us to do this. Fantastic. So $10,000 is over 15,000 Australian. So it's nice because it's kind of a milestone in both currencies. So thank you again. If you haven't seen a young lady called Koy Anna on social media, you need to start following her right now. So Koy Anna was a contestant in the 2023 Miss Universe Cambodia competition. She was a runner-up in that competition, but she gained quite some notoriety from that, and she's done some acting. She's also brand ambassador for a number of companies in Cambodia. But she is a wonderful person, and just recently she started a journey on foot. So she's walking from Phnom Penh to Siem Reap, and she's raising money for children and people with disabilities. Now she's covering all of this journey on her social media, and I just encourage you to watch the footage of her doing this. It's just absolutely wonderful. It's so heartwarming to see the people and just to see how much enjoyment they get from meeting with her, having selfies with her, and her generosity in her willingness to have these interactions with people. It's a wonder she can go anywhere because she's mobbed every step she takes. But the point that I was making is that everywhere she goes, people are putting money into the bag that she has with her. And these are people that have very, very little themselves, but they are just so joyful in giving her these donations as she goes. So I'm going to leave the links to her social media in the description of this video. You need to go and watch that. It's just an antidote for everything that's going on in the world right now. Please do yourself a favor and go and subscribe to her. All right. The next thing that I wanted to talk to you about, or the next thing that I wanted to make mention of, is that you might remember that we spoke about buying a car. We went to Phnom Penh. Yes, we did purchase the car. We took the car down to Kampot for its first trial run, and then we drove from Kampot back to Siem Reap. So we have the car, and we're going to be making a lot more journeys and a lot more adventures and hopefully a lot more videos now that we have the car. We have a backlog of heaps of videos that we have to produce and put on the channel before we can get to the ones where we have the car. So it might be a while before you see videos that involve the car, but believe me, they're coming, like Christmas. But Christmas is not far away, so yes, bear with us there. We do have a backlog, but we're trying very, very hard to scale the mountain. All right. We also moved house quite recently, so I just wanted to tell you how that's going. We've been flooded in a couple of times because there has been quite a bit of rain, and the most recently was on the same night as Jeremy's birthday. There was a torrential downpour, and when we got home we had to wade about 200 metres from the main road through the secondary road and then tertiary road to get to our house. But the house itself is not in any danger of flooding, but the access to it has been a little bit tricky recently. Luckily, the car that we bought is a four-wheel drive and has no problem getting out in no matter what the condition. All right. Next thing I wanted to make mention of was that in a couple of months, we're going to Australia for a couple of weeks. Just wanted to let you know that that's happening. And it would be good for us to catch up with family and friends over there, do a few things, take care of a bit of business that we need to take care of while we're there. So there will be a couple of weeks that we are perhaps doing some different content. We'll see. We're not really sure. Just wanted to make mention of that. And future plans, as I mentioned, we do have plans to take a lot more trips in the car and take you with us as we're able to go a lot further now that we have that transport. When we come back to Cambodia from Australia, Jeremy's mum will be with us, and we're going to travel around a bit with her as well. So that's the immediate future into kind of the end of this year and the very beginning of next year. We do have some travel planned later on next year that is going to be outside of Southeast Asia. We're going to go to Eastern Europe, we think, at this stage. We're not sure where, but we are making plans to do that. Whether or not we make videos on those trips, we're not sure. Anyway, just wanted to give you a bit of an update on how those things are going. All right, so that's the end of my list of 10 things. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for donating, for watching, for coming along to the party, and just generally for supporting us. It's been absolutely wonderful to have this journey with you so far, and we're excited about the future. So thanks again. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.